2009. Horror movies often. It's been rating at the global box office. Engage millions of viewers. And make huge profits. Us 80.0000. Movie theaters full of people. Long lines of people waiting in line. And screams of horror echoed from the screens. It's become a popular culture phenomenon. In the summer of that year. But behind this great success lies a dark secret that very few people know about. This piece was inspired by a real case. And what's horrifying is the atrocity of Easter. On the screen, even if it makes the audience cold, it's still just a mild version of reality. The truth behind the story also contains details cannot accept, so that if it's recreated honestly, it's probably going to be beyond the tolerance of even the viewers. The bravest. Chrome Plus Fire, the 5th of July 2007. Hidden in the Czech Republic. Kron village with 10,000 inhabitants. Living in peace by the ancient stone streets. And wineries. This place sometimes attracts few people who love traditional drinks visit. Life in the Kiram happens to a slow rhythm. And peace. Like one day, this quiet village is known to the world. In an unexpected way. It was the 5th of July 2007. The dawn was coming. Edwards focused on installing baby monitors in the house. These cameras have become very popular. They allow parents to monitor their children remotely. Listening to the cry. Watch your baby's every move in real time. The device is also equipped with a recording function. Parents can follow their children through the screen. Right from the next room. With the happiness and eagerness of a soon-to-be father. Edward bought this child tracking device when your wife is in the final months of pregnancy. He carefully installed the camera in the room. It's ready for the baby to be born. Check the rotation angle. Adjust the position to get the best view. Everything seems to be done. Edward is pleased. Check the image on the full screen again to make sure that the equipment works perfectly. But in that moment, my heart froze. There's an image on the screen that I can't explain. Something strange and unexpected has just happened. Edward could not help but be confused. That instead of seeing your child's room, Edward suddenly caught a picture of a dark room. There's a poor, emaciated kid in there. Only about 8 or 9 years old. In that frozen moment, Edward stared at the screen. I can't believe my eyes. As he continues to observe a horrifying scene unfold. Someone is pouring bread for a child. The child has little hands tied with strings. The image is blurry but unmistakable. This is a child who's been incarcerated and abused. His guts were on fire and Edward immediately pulled out his phone. His hands trembled and he dialed the number for the police. While waiting for the connection, he doesn't take his eyes off the screen. Afraid that what you're seeing, it can disappear at any time. While Edward stood dumbfounded by the screen, every second passed like a century. The police car sirens began to sound in the distance. Not long after, people in uniform showed up at your house. Quickly launched the investigation, according to information from this strange monitoring device. The police determined that Edward's monitor picked up the signal from a neighboring house. They searched the houses in the area and focused on a specific home. The house of two sisters, Clara Mauerova, 30 years old, and Katerina Mauerova, 34 years old. When the police arrive, they were welcomed by the two sisters with a surprisingly cooperative attitude. Clara calmly introduces her 13-year-old daughter, Anna, a little girl with unusual expressions, wry gestures, and distant eyes. Like kids with autism. Everything seems normal, until the police officers request to be searched inside the house. Anna immediately began to have a violent reaction. She's screaming endlessly and running around the living room. Hand crank foot pedal. It's like trying to create an invisible barrier to prevent any AI from getting inside. The little girl's screams echoed. It'll shake the tense atmosphere. Clara hurriedly explained in a worried tone. But don't lose your temper. Anna is my adopted daughter. He's afraid of strangers. The autism makes him overreact like that. The watchful eyes of the police has begun to probe. There's something wrong with this little girl's overreaction. In the way Clara hurriedly explained, and in the heavy atmosphere that enveloped this house. It's for Anna's outcry. CIA police officers are still determined to conduct a search. The whole house. They move room by room. Professional eyes do not ignore any details. Could be a clue. While Clara kept coming up with explanations and tried to lead them out of some areas. One of the officers discovered something unusual. At the end of the hallway, in the hidden corner of the house, behind an old carpet, it's a heavy wooden door that leads down to the basement. It's remarkable that this door is protected. Because not just one, it's multiple layers of solid blocks. An excessive security measure is necessary for a normal space. When asked about this door, the two sisters' faces suddenly changed. Clara and Catherine looked at each other for a moment before Clara hurriedly spoke up. The voice is a little shaky. The basement is not part of our rental bay. We don't have access. And there's no key to those locks. Although the explanation sounds reasonable, but the eyes dodged, and the tension suddenly appears in the attitude of the two sisters. It only makes police officers doubts about what is being hidden behind the mysterious door. From extremely strange things like unusual behavior of little Anna. The sisters' behavior changed when the police wanted to enter the house, especially the strange sound coming from inside the house. The police decided to stop the search. Go back to Edward's house. Here they increased the volume of the video obtained from child monitoring equipment. It's all clear. The sound from the video perfectly matches the strange sound that they just heard at Clara's house. The thing that surprised them the most was watching the video. They realized that the device also recorded the scene. The police themselves. I just went to check on Clara's house. Now everything has become clear. Edward's child monitor was not faulty. Instead, due to frequency overlaps or technical mechanisms, the device accidentally picked up a signal from a camera. Other surveillance placed in Clara's house. This camera is obviously monitoring what happens in the house, including the fact that the police just came to search. The presence of a secret surveillance system in the home. Clara reinforced the suspicion that there's something very suspicious going on there. And what this camera is monitoring. Maybe that's what's hidden in the locked Kier basement. With this indisputable evidence, the police didn't hesitate for a second. They contacted the headquarters immediately, requested an emergency search warrant, with the support of the fire brigade. In the shortest possible time, they returned to the sisters' home with renewed determination. Under the horrified eyes of Clara and Katerina, the fire brigade quickly broke. Each layer of lock protects the basement door. The sound of metal breaking and wood breaking, echoing in a space of tension. When the last door is pushed out, a smelly, fishy air straight into the officers' noses. The smell of urine, human feces, and decay have persisted for too long. A flashlight shining into the darkness, revealing a scene no different than hell on earth. A tight space, dark, so wet and dirty, it's unbelievable. But what makes it so mind-boggling? It's two little figures crouching in the darkest corner of the basement. Two boys, one about 8 and one about 6. In a state of severe malnutrition. His body was so thin he could count every rib. Their skin is pale, almost transparent. I've never been exposed to sunlight. When the light hits the two children, close their eyes. Hand cover face, react as if the light is causing them pain. Jacob Marova is 8 years old and Andrew Marova is 6 years old. Clara's own son. In the days after the shocking arrest, all 3 children were taken to a child protection center for psychological care and evaluation. The medical and psychological staff spent a lot of time observe their condition, and what they recorded was amazing. Jacob and Andre, 2 boys who were locked in a dark basement. Even though there's still fear and deep hurt, but gradually showing positive signs. You start to respond to care. Gradually eat more. And sometimes there are weak smiles when you're being gently talked to by social workers. But Anna, 13-year-old girl introduced by Clara as adopted, they're shown the exact opposite behavior. Instead of feeling liberated, she's constantly screaming. She breaks things and demands to see Clara and Katerina. Anna's tantrums often lasted for hours, exhausting a team of 5. The psychologist noticed other irregularities. Anna is almost unable to communicate normally with others. She said the same thing over and over again. Sometimes they're meaningless words, and often fall into a strange state of distraction. This girl's behavior, from how to eat, travel to react to the surrounding environment, it's not appropriate for a 13-year-old. Thursday morning, after being admitted to the center, staff discovered Anna's room. 0. Immediately, they alert and check the security camera system. What they saw made people a little more confused. The camera captured Anna waking up at 3 a.m. Pack your own stuff. Calm down and get out of the center. Without any sign of being forced to. Or fear. The police immediately mobilized a large force to search. There's 6 across town. Check the bus stops, gas houses, and even the nearby forests. But it's as if she's disappeared from this world. One trace, one witness. A clue as to where Anna might have gone. Anna's mysterious humiliation only made more paper. Many questions about the case. It's been so complicated. During the search for Anna, is still widely deployed. The investigators didn't stop there. They decided to dig deep into this family's past. Interview neighbors, acquaintances, and 6 fine profiles to better understand. About 2 Myrova sisters. The same motive behind their heinous behavior. The information collected 10 is gradually revealing a story. It's more terrifying than they could have imagined. Clara Myrova was born 1975 in a small town in the Czech Republic. It's a woman with a broken past. Mental disorders. Right from childhood, you've shown obvious signs of instability. I often live in a world of illusions. She believed she was the embodiment of the French jihad. John the Arch. Clara often tells people around her about these mystical conversations between you and God, the sacred messages that follow you. Only you are chosen to receive it. Clara's life took a turn when she met and married my college friend. This marriage brought Clara 2 sons, Jakob and Andre. It seems like family happiness. It could be a cure for Clara's restless soul. But the truth is different. Pressure from married life, the responsibility of being a mother, along with her worsening psychological condition, pushed her husband to a painful decision, leaving the whole family. Leave Clara alone to raise her 2 children. The shock of a broken marriage is like a glass of water. Pushed Clara deeper into the depths of depression and paranoia. The hallucinations are getting thicker. Superstition beliefs are becoming more and more extreme, and her behavior is becoming more unpredictable. It is in this dark moment that Catherine Myrova, Clara's sister, has appeared as a ray of hope. Katerina moved in with her sister to help take care of your 2 grandsons and alleviate Clara's sadness. But instead of pulling Clara out of the psychological quagmire, Catherine is slowly drawn back into her sister's twisted world. Over a long period of joint living and constant contact with paranoid ideas, Catherine also began to show unusual signs in thinking and acting. As a testament to the terrifying phenomenon of psychosis, people who live too close together. Anna. Tragedy struck when Clara and Katerina find a job at a local orphanage. The job was supposed to be an opportunity for the 2 sisters to integrate into society, change your life, and get more income. But fate has arranged for them to meet a strange character. A girl who looks about 13 years old. She introduced herself as Anna. Anna is actually Babe Raskrova, a 33-year-old woman with a rare pituitary disease. The body does not develop normally to maintain the appearance of a minor child. Not only that, Deborah also has a complex psychological disorder with a long history of treatment in many psychiatric facilities. She's known for her sophisticated scams, pretending to be orphans to be adopted by barren families, then take advantage of their kindness and love. before disappearing with money and property. At Babura's nursery quickly recognized Clara and Katerina. Two unstable souls are easily manipulated. It's the perfect target for his new psychological game. With an amazing ability to read people and understand psychology, Babura easily accessible to sisters. She skillfully plays a lonely child. Hurt but special. A child chosen by God. That's exactly the weakness of Clara's paranoid beliefs. The strange relationship between BA people quickly developed. Babura became the center of the conversation, manipulating Clara with fictional stories about the sacred messages and special mission, at the same time luring Katerina with promises about a brighter future. In just a few months, Babura, he persuaded the two sisters to bring him back. In the name of Anna, an orphan needs to be adopted. No one suspected that this decision is the first step, leading to a series of horrific events, will shake the whole community in the near future. After Anna moved in with her family, the air in the house is changing. Worried, the relationship between Clara and her two sons start to crack as this mother spends more and more time love and care for the new adopted child. Clara was mesmerized by Anna taking care of every meal and sleep, clothes for her, while Jacob and Andre are increasingly abandoned. Lack of both material and spiritual. The scary thing is Babura Skrova. It's not just a scam. She also has a severe personality disorder. In the same small body, there are two completely different people. There are days she's a grown woman with an authoritarian personality. He likes to control and give orders to everyone around him, even Clara and Catherine. But there are also times she's completely impersonating a little girl, naively demands to be pampered and cared for. In the process of living together, Babura gradually developed a strong jealousy with Chakup and Q. She can't stand two kids. Even though Clarissa was distracted, it's still my baby. You have the right to be loved in this house. From here, Babura began a sinister campaign to harm these two boys by whispering malicious incitement into Tai Clara. It's a coincidence that at this point, Clara is in phase, exhausted both physically and mentally. The two boys are of active age. Mischievous, it makes the single mother feel too much. Babura quickly seizes the opportunity, constantly suggesting increasingly harsh punishments every time the boys disobey. From cutting down on meals, kneeling for hours, to other forms of physical punishment. It's like falling into a trance. Clara blindly followed all the instructions of Babura. For Clara right now, keeping Anna with you, it seems more important than anything, including the happiness and safety of his own son. The pathological relationship between Clara and Babura deepened, while the boy's condition got worse and worse. The mysterious emails. The situation became more serious when I started getting emails from people claiming to be doctors. A leading psychologist, specialized treatment for children with behavioral problems. In these emails, the doctor gave a detailed analysis about the condition of the two boys, Jacob and Andre, along with advice on how to treat them. Doctors often insist that the two boys, trying to annoy Anna, it affects psychological development of special girl Anna. Emails filled with technical jargon, quotes from psychological studies. It's actually fake, and even attached documents that look professional. To increase reliability. Start. The penalties suggested by the doctor were relatively mild. Slaps on the hands when the boys don't listen. Separating them from Anna. To avoid negative influence, let's make them stand in the corner thinking about his behavior. Clara, with psychological instability and absolute trust in this expert, I took each instruction seriously. However, over time, emails become more worrying. The doctor said that the previous punishment was too easy. It's not enough to treat two boys. The advice is becoming more extreme, from forcing a fast, kneeling for hours, binding hands and feet to limit harmful movement. In the end, it was a complete arrest to insulate from the bad environment. Every time Clara hesitated, doctors sent long, stressful emails Be warned of serious consequences if you do not comply. From the fact that these two boys are going to be uncontrollably violent, it's about how they can harm Anna. Or even Clara herself. 3 months before it was discovered, a terrifying turning point has taken place when the whole family suddenly leaves their house. Clara informed her neighbors that they're going on a short vacation. In fact, the whole group includes Clara, Katerina Bebra with Jacob and Andre, has moved to a remote bungalow, deep in the forest, more than 50 kilometers from the town. After returning from the mysterious bungalow, the real horror has just begun. Two sisters, Clara and Katerina, under the direction of Barbara, has built a terrifying structure in a dark basement. A solid iron cage, specially designed to detain Jacob and Andre. The cage was just wide enough for 2 children to crouch around, with cold bars of iron all around, and a heavy lock on the outside. For many months of 2007, the 2 boys had to live in conditions no different than hell. They're starved forever, fed just enough not to die. Sometimes some hard bread. Sometimes the leftovers are rotten. Small body, their weakness, constantly suffering from barbaric ROI blows. From hand blows with the belt, until they're burned with cigarettes, or being splashed with cold water in the middle of the winter night. All these horrible scenes were recorded through the camera system, monitoring that Barbara installed in the basement. Via screen reach in private room, she can track the movements of 2 children, give orders to Clara and Katerina when to deal with them, and even satisfy sick joy to see their pain again. But it's this monitoring device that's the cause. This led to the collapse of the group. In an ironic twist of fate, Edward, the neighbor whose wife is pregnant, bought a child monitor of the same line, with the camera that Barbara is using. Due to the same frequency and geographic proximity, sometimes Edward's device picked up a signal from the camera in Clara's basement. At first, strange images and sounds appears on the monitoring screen. It just makes Edward confused. But when the cries cry out in pain, "Please feel sorry for me," and the sight of 2 skinny kids tied up in an iron cage continuously appearing, I realized this wasn't a common technical error. It's evidence of a horrific crime. It's happening right next to me, while investigators are still trying to find Anna's whereabouts. It's amazing information from an anonymous witness. It's taken the whole case in a completely different direction. This person didn't just confirm that Anna was Barbara Krova. It also reveals a secret network behind this horrific abuse. According to the source, Katerina Marova is not as alien to Barbara as she claims to be. In fact, they're college friends. And Katerina knows the true nature of Barbara. Katerina herself convinced his sister to adopt Anna, facilitating Barbara's entry into the family and start the dark plan. Things that really startled the investigators when the witness revealed that this case is not just about behavior of individuals with mental disorders. Behind it all is a mysterious extremist cult, where Barbara, Katerina, Clara, and the therapist in the bungalow, they're all closely connected. More remarkable than Barbara's father, Joseph Kira, identified as one of the senior figures in this cult. He has a great influence on the members, and he's the mastermind behind many of these terrifying rituals the 2 boys had to go through. Brother of Barbara, he was also identified as a participant in the case, act as a liaison between the group at the house with other members of the cult. Emails from the mysterious doctor. That's what motivated Clara. They commit acts of torture against their children. It doesn't come from any medical professional. It's the product of Katerina and Barbara. It's very finely crafted for the purpose of manipulating Clara's psyche, to make this already unstable woman fully believe that abusing your child is necessary and directed by God. This information has opened up a new dimension to the case. It's not just a story about child abuse. It's a much broader conspiracy, with motives and purposes. It hasn't been fully clarified yet. The case seems to have reached a dead end. With the mysterious disappearance of Barbara, there was a sudden change in early 2008. It's thousands of kilometers from the Republic, in a quiet town in Norway. A strange scene has taken place. To keep the locals from buzzing. On a cold winter morning, a 12-year-old boy named Adam, on my way to school, was stopped by a black car. Out of the car came a man calling himself a policeman. Get the boy in the car for a deposition. According to this man, Adam is involved in a serious case. It is being investigated in the Czech Republic. The child panicked and protested, attract the attention of passers-by. The loud noise made Adam's adoptive parents. People living nearby rushed to the scene. They asked to see their son, and asked to see proof of identity. The man who calls himself a police officer. In a stressful situation, the police officer revealed a shocking truth. Man, not a 12-year-old boy like he looks. This child is but Boris Clover, who disappeared from Clara's house after the scandal was discovered, and is currently the subject of an international manhunt, accused of complicity in torture and child abuse. The Norwegian couple couldn't believe their ears. For the past 7 months, they loved Adam like a son, not knowing that the child they adopted, it's actually a 33-year-old woman on the run from the law. Mrs. Bora once again took advantage of her childish appearance to deceive, this time with a completely new identity, and in another country. Later investigations showed that after leaving Clara's house, Barbara has fled through many European countries. Multiple changes in identity and appearance. She cut her hair short and dressed like a boy, trying to gain weight, change identity, and eventually came to Norway, where there's a good social welfare system for orphans, to start a new life called Adam. This is the danger of Barbara. When she's not just a psychopath, it's also adaptable to all kinds of identities. The case of two sisters, Marova and Barbara Sklova, to enter a new phase when the trial officially begins. In 2008, despite being exposed as a 33-year-old adult female, Barbara continues her act right in court. In front of the entire courtroom, she appears in appearance, deliberately posing as a child, hugging an old teddy bear, wear thick glasses and carry children's books. The way she moves, talk and reaction are well calculated to give the impression of innocence. But no AI in the courtroom, from judge to lawyer to notary. I was fooled by this play. We all saw the true nature of Barbara, a master psychological manipulator that have contributed to irreparable damage for two innocent boys. During the duration of the trial, the media has consistently reported on the case with unprecedented coverage. The public is haunted by images of Barbara in many different versions. It's a testament to the ability to transform. It's amazing of her. First, the image of Annika, 13-year-old girl with thick glasses, brown hair tied neat ponytails and feminine dresses. He looks no different than a normal high school student. This is a character that Barbara played in her family. Narova, a good child in front of strangers. But he's the instigator of atrocities when there's no one watching. And then there's the shocking image of Adam, a 12-year-old boy. Under this identity, Barbara lived in the Norwegian capital, Oslo, studying at a local public school, and he welcomed into a loving family. They don't know her true identity. And finally, the third image. A pale girl whose face was tense and anxious. The top of the hat wool pulled down like trying to hide her identity. It's the Barbara Sklova moment. They were arrested by police at the Brazilian airport after being extradited from Norway. The last moment of the escape. And also the time the public saw this terrifying manipulator for the first time, in her true form. These 3 pictures of help from naive Annika. Adam is quiet, to the Barbara woman with bewildered eyes. To make a big picture about the incredible transformation of someone who has succeeded in deceiving. It's not just the people around, but also the legal systems of many different countries. Every picture, every piece of this story, they all raise questions. It's scary about the thin line between reality and illusion, about how people can be manipulated, and about the dark secrets is still hiding behind the shocking case. After months of investigation and a lengthy trial, justice is finally done, although not completely complete. On the last day of the trial, while the heavy and stressful atmosphere takes place, the judge read out the sentences. Katerina Marova, who have a key role in planning and engage in abusive behavior, received the heaviest sentence of 15 years in prison. The court found that as an educated person, higher in the group, Catherine took advantage of her sister's unstable psyche to manipulate and direct violent behavior. Klara Marova, the mother directly caused the pain for your own biological child, sentenced to 9 years in prison. The math took into account Klara's mental state and the manipulation she's been subjected to from her sister and Barbara. But you can't ignore the responsibility of a mother for all the children. Vaporous Krova, even if identified as someone who has an important role in the manipulation and plan for the event, received only 5 years in prison, partly due to you. The lawyer was successful in proving her state of mental disorder. Bayover was freed in 2011 after just 3 years in prison. Other members of the cult related to the case of receiving sentences 37 years in prison, depending on the level of participation in abusive behavior. But the unfortunate thing is that some of the main conspirators of the mysterious cult, especially Joseph Kira, father of Barbara, and arguably one of the leaders of this organization, he successfully escaped from police custody. To date, these people have never been brought to justice, leaving many questions unanswered about the real engine behind this shaky case. Judgment of the court, even though it brought a certain level of justice, still can't erase the deep psychological damage that Jacob and Andre had to endure. The wounds are likely to follow these two boys for the rest of my life. Barbara Klova was released in 2011 after serving only part of a 5-year sentence, even though the authorities has repeatedly vowed to closely monitor Barbara after she was released. But the reality is, this woman has successfully integrated herself into the crowd, disappear like a ghost, leaving unanswered questions behind about the true motives and possibilities of such a person. It can be recommitted. Meanwhile, Chakap and Andre, after being rescued, was taken to a new foster family, where we're slowly recovering physically and mentally. Psychologists have spent thousands of hours to help the two boys to overcome severe psychological trauma. The strangest and most painful thing is that despite being abused, Chakap Fantre, I still have in my heart the memory of my mother. Not the Clara of the dark days. It's a gentle mother from childhood. Before everything goes wrong. It's a painful paradox of human emotion, where love and pain are intricately intertwined. In these rare interviews with psychologists, the two brothers expressed hope to see their mother again someday, when she had truly repented and healed. This desire, though it may seem incomprehensible to many, it's a testament to its extraordinary power of family affection. It's a bond. It can withstand even the deepest of injuries. Do you think the mother abused her children? They deserve to be forgiven, even though the children are still in their hearts. I hope for a day of reunion. Is family love able to tolerate all mistakes? Or is this an absurd sacrifice? Forgive someone who has caused so much pain. Leave a comment below this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel Ghostly TV to watch more interesting videos.